Hey, what's up? It's Blank here. Today we are going to talk about environment variables. So what are environment variables? Environment variables are basically CLI variables that determines the behavior of your script. So for example, in this application I've built, I'm using an environment variable called yturl. It is I'm accessing it using bun. You can also access it using the process environment in your Node.js directories, right? So once you get your URL, I'm just using that YouTube URL, and what I'm doing is I'm installing its image, its thumbnail and its video contents, and I'm basically displaying it on my file system. So if I run this right now, you can see it would not run because it requires that environment variables. How do we actually pass this environment variables? You pass this environment variables like this. You say the environment variables equals to the value, and then you start your script. And once the environment variable is set, you can also see your script is also running. Let's just wait for a bit and let's see what the script does and if it actually works properly. There we go. And yeah, it's basically like installing it from the YouTube stream, and it's actually putting it there. So once this is done, I'm gonna show you something else. So before, we used to have like a lot of tools to manage environment variables. What we used to do is basically like this: namespace bun interface env. We put yturl as number, and now yturl is still listing interface. Yeah, namespace interface and this. Yeah, so you could actually declare your types over here. So if you have another environment variable, you can just set it like this, and you can see that it works in your LSP as well. Yeah, with type safety as well. String, it's gonna be a string yturl. There we go, and now it just works. But here, even if this is type safe now and this cannot be a string or undefined, you can still see that if I don't pass it, it will still break, because even if it is type safe, that does not mean on runtime we are checking the application's types, right? To check on the runtime level, if I am setting the URL, what we need to do is use another package. So I found a really good package for this called environment t3oss.environment. I'm gonna show that package to you right now. T3oss environment co. So how do you actually use t3oss environment co is also very interesting. So you make a new file called environment.ts, right? You import z from zod, and you import config from t3oss.co. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Now create environment takes in a lot of other types. So for example, like one of the types that I really see it using is basically e.t3.tss.co. Yeah, there we go. So I'm just gonna yoink this application code. I'm gonna put it here. So first of all, uh, this is how you actually declare your environment variables. So if it's a server side environment variables, you put it in server here, and then you declare it like this. If you have a client side variable, so for example your JWT token, like secret key, secret like refresh token or some stuff like that, you basically put it here in this client folder, and you prefix it like this. So if you don't want this prefix, you could do blank. Okay, there we go. So if it does not start with this, it's gonna cause a problem. There we go. So that's just how this package works. So now you will have an environment variable that is read only and that is like type safe on an environment level, which is very interesting. Let's see this in action. I'm gonna set up my YouTube URL here and remove this part. Because we don't have a client environment, we are gonna pass it a runtime environment. I'm just gonna pass here bun dot env, and I'm gonna empty strings as undefined true. Yeah, there we go. So now we have our environment variables here. I'm just gonna come here and I'm gonna import my environment variables, environment from environment, and I'm gonna use the environment.yt URL here directly. Now you can see that this is directly saved, and if I run this now, I'm gonna get a really type safe error called empty environment variable, and if I don't set it properly, it does not work. Suppose like I want to have more type safe URLs, you can just use the XOR type objects and you can basically do anything. So for example, if I want starts with YouTube slash watch slash live, and if I don't pass it like the actual application which starts from YouTube watch slash this, then it's gonna have an error. I'm just gonna delete this part because I don't think youtube.com, it should start with this. So that works properly. But if you have something that is not actually a YouTube URL like this, hello there bun dot, that's gonna cause an error because it's not the same type. So this is a very good application, but I still find we could actually have a little bit more type safety here. Recently we came across arc regex as my previous video. What if there was a way in integrating arc regex directly into uh, your application? That's what I'm thinking on proposing. Like your environment variable should be type safe on a regex level as well. So giving those capabilities or using something like arc regex with something like T3 OSS would really yield the best results. So we could have like this into a regex or something that works properly, and we could have like everything uh, declared in regex format. So that's what I feel like is the ultimate thing. So yeah, that's all about today. Thank you so much.